Hello and welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Erika. You can find me as Loareknits everywhere. This is Cookie. And this is a podcast mostly about knitting. I was trying to change the camera angle, but it was looking a bit weird. So you could see Cookie because otherwise I had to hold her a bit high and she's just melting. So we're just gonna have her here. She's having a great time. Okay, so this is a podcast mostly about knitting, and I'm coming to you from near Barcelona. Today is April 12th, and we can't wear our hand knits for that long, so as you can tell, I'm not wearing any hand knits today. We have a warm spring already here with us, and yeah, we can mostly wear our knits from maybe November to February, some in March if they're like a bit lightweight, and I mean our woolly knits. We can wear cotton and linen most of the time, but I prefer to knit with wool, so most of my hand knits are made of wool. And even I am not wearing a hand knit sweater, I am wearing a handmade thing. It's a dress with quite dramatic sleeves, and I finished sewing it yesterday. It's a pattern by a brand or workshop that is based here in Barcelona, and recently they invited me to take one of the patterns, well, me and others, not just me, take one of their patterns and modify it to my style. I was sick for a couple of weeks before this took place, so I didn't have a lot of time to work on it, and I am by no means an expert sewist. So basically what I did, I took their top, it's called the Ura top, and the brand and workshop is called Lantoki, which has a Basque name, and they share a Basque heritage with me, so that was really special. And I took their Ura top and hacked it into a dress. Basically, I just made a gather dress. I'm not sure if you want to see some of my handmade sewn things, or you're just here for the knitting. I don't usually record my progress or my process in sewing, basically because the setup it takes is quite different, and also I'm not as comfortable sewing as I am knitting because I've been knitting for many more years that I've been sewing. But this time, as part of the invitation for this event that happened yesterday in Lantoki, they told us to record our sewing process, and then they recorded small clips yesterday of us going through the pattern that we chose and how we hacked it. And if you're interested in that, maybe I can show some of that footage in a next video. I will probably put up a little video of of the sewing process of this dress, albeit it took me a little time and I kind of rushed a bit through it during my work week this week, because I don't know if I mentioned, I've been sick for a couple of weeks, so I didn't have a lot of time. But I did record a little bit here and there, so okay, off she goes. So now maybe I can just get up and show you the dress a bit. So basically what I did is just attached, I took the top, I cropped it a few centimeters, and I basically just attached a gather skirt, so 2 rectangles. The top is just a round neck top, and it has a little gather on the sleeves and a little gather on the cuffs, which makes this dramatic sleeve. It's quite long. I can't show you what it's looking like at the bottom now, but it's not to the floor, but I would say it's midi length, but on the lengthy side. So that's what I'm wearing. No knits today, but we're going to talk about knitting because this is mostly a podcast about knitting. So what do we have today? Today we have a couple of finished things. I think I'm gonna show you that, of new finished things, but I also have an old finished project that I wanted to show you. I have a half finished things and some new yarn acquisitions and also some work in progress. So let's jump right in with the finished things. So the first finished thing, it's the little bandana that I think I told you about. It's a handkerchief, kerchief, bandana like mini scarf, and this is the first prototype. It's not blocked yet. I just finished it this morning because this is a design that I'm working on for Nomad Noos high mountain yak. Right now it looks a lot like a Sophie shawl. I am aware of it, but this was prototype number 1 to see the size and the amount of yarn that was used and what it was looking like and the fabric. I know it's not blocked yet, but this is exactly what I wanted. It's deeper than the Sophie shawl because the rate of increasing is different. I would say the increases are also different because I have knit a Sophie shawl in the past by Petite Knit, and the cast on with the I-cord is also a bit different. Let me see if I can force focus it here. It doesn't want to. So that the I-cord goes all the way through the cast on, which is something different from the Petite Knit pattern. So it's not as straightforward, it's quite an easy knit, but it has its differences. However, this was the first prototype, and now the sample that I'm going to work is going to include some bubbles and some horizontal slip stitch details. But this is also the size that I was going for, which is basically a bandana like, little shawlet. I didn't want it to be double wrap. I just wanted it to be this size. It will be pointier a little bit once I block it, and you can wear it like that, so bandana style, or you can wear it, I still have a marker to find the right side, or you can wear it handkerchief style, but only tie it once. So this can lay a little bit to the sides, a little bit here. I know they look a bit impractical, but I often find that I need just a little extra warmth on my neck because I usually get a sore throat quite often if there's like a draft or the weather has changed or is a little bit colder. And yeah, so this is what it will look like. It has to be straightened a bit, and once you wear it as a bandana, it will look a bit like this. And you don't have to wrap it twice. You just can wear it like this. You can have it on the side, you can have it on the front. It does look a bit like a bib, but I like just having that extra layer. You can also wear it beneath a bigger scarf if it's quite cold where you live. But this is perfect for these kind of chilly spring mornings and the mild weather that we usually have here in the peninsula. So this is the first finished object, and I will be calling for testers soon. It's a very small project, and the idea is to release it in May, probably mid-May. And I hope I can have the first bit of the patterned version with the bubbles and the slip stitch this week, so I can send it out to testers. And yeah, this is what it's looking like. So I told you this was worked in Nomad, Noos, High Mountain Yak, and I will probably be also testing and releasing a fingering weight version. This took up around 30 grams. I'm just asking testers to have 35 grams just in case they don't run out or they want to work a gauge swatch, although I don't think it will be completely necessary because it can be a measure as you go kind of pattern, but just in case, a little more yardage. And I'm also thinking of releasing a fingering weight version, so it's perfect for scrap amounts of yarns. So probably maybe the fingering weight version takes a bit more yardage. It will depend because I will probably adjust the gauge and its size, but yeah, definitely under 50 grams. So this is the first finished object that we have. So it's a self-drafted pattern. Right now still loosely based on the Sophie shawl, but with a totally different increase rate, and I will be adding some design elements next. So then, as I've told you several times, this year I'm aiming to knit 12 socks in 2025. I don't have my March socks with me because those were part of a sock exchange. I might be able to insert a picture somewhere, and I will try to do that. That might come up now, and if not, then I'll try to show you because they have been sent, they have been received, and I think they have been loved. And these are then my April socks. Those were my March socks, and these are my April socks. You've seen this several times. They are I call them my golden birch socks, but they're based in the Birch Shortie Socks, patterned by Rachel Nutting, and I adapted them for a longer cuff, and they're finished. They're two, and yeah, they've been worn, and I love them. I was able to wear them recently just because I've used an Eden Cottage Titus 4-ply yarn, which has silk in it, and with the lace and everything, they're quite airy, and I am really happy with the result. I've been wanting a pair of golden or mustard color socks for a while, and I think this turned out perfect. So finished object number 2 and my April socks. However, it looks like in April I might have more socks than or more pairs of socks than just one pair, because on my needles currently I have a half finished object, which is another sock, and this is unblocked, but as you saw in the intro or we'll see in the outro, I just recently cast them off, so they are hot off the needles. This is a test knit for Nora from Fox and Folk, and they are called, I will write the name because I won't be able to pronounce it properly and I don't want to butcher it, but these are my test knit socks for Fox and Folk. I will take them out of the sock blocker so I can show them, so I can show them to you better, because the lace panel at the front is just beautiful. Now just remember that these are not blocked, so that's why they looked all scrunched up right now, but they feature a beautiful cable pattern at the front, seed stitch at the back and back of the heel, stockinette sole, a little lateral braid at the top. The stitches look a bit loose after my lateral braid. I need to see if they block up properly or they will end up looking like this. I've worked lateral braids in socks in the past and they didn't look like this, so I'm not sure it's something about the yarn or the way that I knit. Just your regular long tail cast on, ribbing at the top, and although it does have cables, it is quite elastic with the side cables and the alternating pearl pattern, so they are quite elastic. I've tried them on, well, I've tried it on, and I'm really happy with it. They work from the top down, and the seed stitch is incorporated into the heel, and just a classic toe. I am knitting this in Regia Premium Merino Yak. I think the colorway Beige Meliert, but I will add all the info in the notes down below. And I'm going to pause because I'm running out of battery. Now on to what's on my needles actively working right now, apart from the sock test for Fox and Folk, which I will probably cast on soon. I have another sock test on my needles. I didn't really need or want it to cast on more test or socks right now, but I can't resist it. I can't resist it. I can't help it. If I see some of my favorite designers drop a new test knit, I am going to fight very hard with myself and lose the battle and cast it on. But I was determined to knit more from stash. So the socks for Nora, they're knit from stash. I've been collecting a few Regia Merino Yak shades because I really like how the yak takes or doesn't take the color and gives this dark undertone to the base and a heathered look to the colors. But I do have a huge collection of yarn, and I've mentioned several times that I really want to knit from it. And another thing that I wanted to get better at was to knit better colorwork socks. And while I'm working with that, and a lovely viewer mentioned that she wants to knit along a few colorwork socks with me. Before I jumped into that, I did see a new test come up by Anna Hosworth, and I couldn't help it. The time was short, but it was on big needles, and I had the perfect yarn in stash for it. And I applied and cast them on immediately as soon as she sent the pattern. So the yarn, this was not exactly the yarn that she called for, but I had one lonely ball from this beautiful, I will not say this, but ecologic organic wool, maybe. So this is from CaMaRose, and it's a 2-ply 100% organic wool yarn. And I know this might not be intended for socks, but the pattern Anna called for, I think it was calling for Roma Garden Finool, and it has similar composition. So one is Finnish yarn. I think this is Norwegian. It doesn't say here. Maybe I'm making it up, but that's what I thought. Regardless, the plies and the composition and the gauge was quite similar. And I had this lovely skein, and that's why I mentioned at the beginning that I was also going to show you some old mittens, some old whips. I had this lonely skein because at some point I loved the yarn, the shade, and I really wanted to try this when I started collecting these more rustic wools. And with the other ball, so the other 50-gram ball, I need these beautiful mittens. I need these in November, December 2020. So they're more than 4 years old, and they're some of my, well, I think they're my favorite pair of mittens. They go super well with all my outfits, and I love them. These are the A Little Woman's Mittens by Heumann. I hope I'm pronouncing your name well. And they are, I need the size small. It only took 50 grams of yarn, and they are snug. As you can see, they're kind of thin, but they're quite elastic. But I love that they're super snug on my hands. I'm gonna try them on for you to see. And they have this super long cuff that you can fold over, or you can just wear straight up inside your coat. Of course, this looks ridiculous now with the spring summery dress, but you get what I mean. So these are the A Little Woman's mittens, and they're just beautiful. The yarn is showing a bit lighter, probably that's more like it. I will hide my face so I focus this on the mittens, and I love them. So ever since I wore them, I had this long ball of yarn in my stash, and I always thought I would make something matching for them. But although you can knit a pair of mittens with 50 grams of yarn, I doubted I could knit something else to go with them. I don't really wear a lot of headbands. Now that I think of it, I could have done a little also kerchief bandana thingy, but at the time I didn't think about it. So when Anna Hosvard called for the test of the socks that I'll show you right now, it was perfect because I could use this as the main color. It required 50 grams of yarn, which is what I had, and they were colorwork socks, so they can go into my 12 socks in 2025. They are worked using yarn from my collection or stash, and they're colorwork, so I can get better at knitting colorwork socks. So basically they were fulfilling all my requirements for sock knitting this year. The other colors that I'm using, they're not the same kind of yarn. Oh wait, I got a little mess here. But they are also 100% Merino sock yarn, and I think they can go well, or I thought they could go well, because of also being 100% wool. The sheep breed's not the same, but I don't know how many plies this has, but it is highly twisted, I guess, for durability. The gauge is a bit different of both, so I do have the feeling that the colorwork that I'm working with this is a little thinner, but I'm hoping that it changes once I block it. And otherwise they don't look bad, they don't have the same plumpness to it. So these are Cowgirl Blues Merino sock. I don't remember where I got them. Colorways are Faded Rose and Party 3. They're the softest colors. This has been my palette for quite a while. I also mentioned Anna that I know she's not a fan of pink, but I have a lot of pink a lot of pink yarn in my stash because it's one of the shades that I like, and for years it has been my dopamine color, so I really liked pink. So with all these, the contrast probably is not great between these two, but I'm going for a low contrast color work between them. I am knitting this little sock. And I have no idea if you can see what I tell you about the yarn not having the same plumpness on the stitches, on the color work stitches. It might be a matter of color dominance, but I am carrying the contrast color in my non-dominant hand, and keeping the float below the dominant color and dominant hand color work. So I'm hoping the Cowgirl Blues fills up with blocking, because I mean you can't tell that the yarns, I don't want to, you can do it this way, they don't exactly have the same thickness to them, but regardless I think I'm getting a beautiful sock. So this is my Bridget sock test for Anna Hosford, and I couldn't resist it. I know these are going to fly off my needles, just I haven't worked on them a ton. This is just what I did in a couple of days, and I really wanted to finish the socks for Nora, and I've been sewing a lot. So this, to go with this, I think they're gonna be perfect. And that's for what's actively on my needles now. Now, I've shown you some recent finished objects, some old finished objects, and I've shown you, along with the old finished objects and my goal to knit from my collection this year, I also want to show you some old yarn that I have in my stash and that I will use and jump on my needles soon. So for this, so this yarn I will use in another test for Anna Hosford, which I signed up a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't started yet just because the deadline is a bit longer, so I'm planning to cast it on as soon as I'm done with my Bridget socks. And that would be the Yggdrasil tea, probably also butchering it. I know I heard Anna say it in one of her podcasts, but I don't remember now. I would say it's the Yggdrasil tea. And I am using, or I will be using, this deep stash from when Anna from Gregoria Fibers was dyeing yarn and selling her own yarn. And this is, it's a Gregoria Fibers. There you go. It's an alpaca, linen and silk blend, which I think would be beautiful for a springy summery knit in the colorway strawberry, and I have a few of them, and this is what I will be using for the Yggdrasil tea, which is a beautiful little cropped tee. I can wear it with high skirts. I don't think I will wear it cropped with my belly showing, just not my style, but high-waisted skirts and high-waisted trousers, yes, and shorts also. And it's a beautiful tee that features a cable in the raglan, and that goes also beneath on the sides of the body, on the underarms. And it's a short-sleeved tee. If Anna allows and I have enough yarn, I might lengthen the sleeves a little bit, just because I don't love super short sleeves in summer. I'd rather have them almost reach my elbow, so we'll see about that. And I will be casting that probably in May. That's really old yarn, and I also have some new yarn acquisitions, just because I could not resist it. I want to knit more from stash. I want to knit more grams and yardage that I buy, but I don't have a ban per se for buying yarn. If I find something that I really like or that I need for a specific project, I will purchase it. In this case, it was a want and not a need whatsoever. I did not convince myself that I needed it. I really wanted it, and I could afford it, and I did want to get this for myself. And so I treated myself to some woolen twine fiber studio office sock set. This was a little bundle for the Linaria socks. I will put the name of the designer here as well. And I couldn't resist it, because I've been wanting to try and have some of Yule's yarn in my collection, and now I have these little beauties. They're naturally dyed, or they're dyed with plant fibers, plants. And this is natural 100% non-superwash wool, and I chose this. I was debating between among the first kit and the second kit. So the first kit was her original kit. This was a bit more brownish, and this was a bit lighter, so the darker color was a bit more brownish and the lighter shade was a bit lighter. But I was in love with the stitch marker that came with this, which was this little thing. And so that's what made me decide on getting this kit instead. So yeah, I'm very happy to have Yule's yarn in my collection, and everything about it was beautiful. The yarn looks delicious, the packaging was beautiful, very thought of. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, for returning, for leaving a little comment, giving a little like. Means a lot, and see you next time.